Pātaka te hau ki te tūru. Pātaka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kini kini ki te tūru. Kia mā taratau ki tai. E ia ki rāna te atasira. Te he mōrero.
Thank you, everyone. So, welcome to everybody online. We've got a bit of feedback. Yeah. We are okay. So, welcome to everybody online and everybody in the room. Thank you for coming. What have we got first? Yes. Oh, yes, I have to say this. So just reminding you, anybody, if there's any criticism or disrespect of elected members and or staff, I'll have to stop the discussion. Hasn't happened while I've been here. Fantastic. I'd also like to welcome Linda to the crew. I understand it's actually a return, really, isn't it? Yes, thank you. Yeah. Nice to have you here. So we've got some apologies today. We've got an apology from Luana, who can't be here, and Ruben, who is online. I'm happy to move that.
Is anybody here from Howard?
Howard. Good.
No.
Maybe the lateness.
Okay, so I'm happy to move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. And declarations of interest, as always, feel free to bring it up now or during the discussion when that comes up. Confirmation of previous minutes.
Oh, sorry, just on, do I have a conflict on item 9? This year according to the working party?
Yes.
So I have to,
Okay, that's noted. Thank you. Yep.
I was waiting for it.
We've got 8.
Oh, right.
We've got 8 and 10.
I'm just testing them as it's.
There's 9.
And Kathy, you're on it currently.
And 10. Walking, yes. Okay.
Is that like, has Kathy got a conflict?
Yeah.
No?
She's a member of the working party.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Any others that we need to bring up now? Thank you. Now we can move on to the last previous minutes. Can I have, unless there's anything else that needs to be changed on there? We look for correction purposes. Yes. Okay, a mover for that, please. Howard, did I see you scratch your face? Yep. Nigel. And
Ruben can't hear.
Wow, that's really cut it.
I'm sorry. Ruben apparently can't hear. We will just fix that.
You can see, but he can't hear.
Okay, we're working on that now, Ruben.
What is it's all good.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good now.
Thumbs up. Okay. Now we have feedback.
Is it just because we were doing this?
So is everybody able to hear us still? Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Where are we up to? Oh, we need a seconder for the minutes, please.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Us.
Yeah.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Right.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we're going on to public forum. And just a reminder that this is live streamed as well. We have got Paula Smith from the Studdard Cottage Trust to come speak to us today. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate your time.
Am I on now?
Yes. Come on up.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Paula Smith taku ingoa, mō te waipapa aho. So my name is Paula Smith and I've come today from Diamond Harbour to talk to you about Studdard Cottage, which is one of Banks Peninsula's heritage assets. And I particularly want to just give you an update about our goings on, because we've got an annual plan that's just been ratified, and just to let you know how we're getting on. Stoddart Cottage is significant for being the oldest colonial dwelling in Diamond Harbour, and also the birthplace of a painter called Margaret Stoddart, who's quite well known throughout New Zealand. But she's an impressionist and a watercolour painter, and she's got works throughout in public collections throughout New Zealand. So Stoddart Cottage is owned by the council and leased to the Stoddart Cottage Trust. And under the terms of our lease, we are to promote heritage. We also to maintain the site and the building, but we get quite a bit of help from the council for that now. At the time the trust was formed, it was in Littleton Borough and Max Peninsula days, and there was no money for that sort of thing, so the community had to do it. But now, although we've got volunteers helping in the garden, and we do a bit around the place, the council does support us with that, so that's fantastic. So that leaves us with the job of promoting Stoddart Cottage, and we do that by building on the relationship between the arts and heritage. And we have a program of month-long exhibitions in the main gallery, and these are curated by we call a cottage manager, who's employed under contract for 6 to 8 hours a week. And in the past, that has been funded. We've had support from the community board with Strengthening Communities Fund for that. We've had funding from Rākaihautū. It's our long-term aim to be able to be self-sufficient in this respect, and we were getting quite close to that before COVID. But we have had a significant drop in visitor numbers and revenue since COVID, and the recovery is underway, as this annual report is showing, but it's quite slow. But I'm optimistic about this coming season, because already we've seen that visitor numbers pick up a bit in the spring. So, but currently she's being funded by a special grant from Te Pātaka, which was COVID, supporting museums in COVID times, so we were lucky to get on the last round of that. So I just point out, we've got kind of 3 prongs. One is the art gallery, the contemporary art. One is there's a craft shop, well, a shop, I have to be careful about my language here. It's a craft outlet where local craftspeople, there's about 30 in a co-op. It's a separate organisation from the trust called the Stoddart Cottage Artisans, and they provide the bulk of the volunteers that enable us to be open 3 days a week. So that's great. Here, I just pass these round 3 days a week. Great place to come and visit if you've got a family group. Take one, pass them on. What else do you need to know? And then the third thing is the promotion of the heritage. And so the idea with the arts and crafts is to get more people through the cottage who might not be attracted by the pure heritage side of things, people that like shopping, whatever, and the arts. So in the last financial year, we had the highlights, and our annual report is on the website, which is on that card, if you want to have a look in there. So we had 12 diverse and successful art exhibitions in the main gallery, and the trust also runs a kind of artist in residence program at a house in Pūrao that's been lent by one of the local artisans, and so twice a year we have people stay there for a month, and I think the council has provided some financial support for those artists in residence through their arts funding system. So we're well keyed into the council system, and then so we've had a painter called Wayne Sabe, who had a very successful exhibition at the cottage after his exhibition, and we had Delaney Davidson, who's better known as a musician, but he's actually originally was a fine artist. So he's just recently had one, and he'll have an exhibition in the new year. And there's currently another person just finished. So that's quite interesting, the work that comes out of that program. As I said, we've got a slow recovery in visitor numbers and revenue from the pandemic. But our most significant income stream is donations. In the last financial year, we had $10,000 worth of donations of goods and money, mostly goods, which we sell in two massive garage sales, so to raise funds. And one of the things that we do is any donations are set aside in a separate collections account, because we have a collection of heritage, of artefacts and objects associated with the Stoddart family and later occupants of the house, which includes a number of employees of Banks Peninsula and Littleton Borough County Council. And we put all the donations in this separate account, and we use it to maintain the collection. And one of the things we have been doing is buying original Margaret Stoddart paintings when they come up at auction that have links to Diamond Harbour. So we bring them home, basically. Nice. And we've now got 4, and then on Friday we would just donated another one that has a very very strong link to Diamond Harbour through Ollie Hunter, who was one of our first conservation guys. So I think that's about it. Has anyone's got any questions? So that's the update. Oh, and Howard. Oh no, sorry, you're Nigel. Howard's not here. He's actually technically on the trust and shares the rights and responsibilities, and I emphasise responsibilities, of the rest of us on the sorry, Nigel. It's just a point made. Oh. Anyway, he's on the trust, and so we include him in our minutes and records and things.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
One question. So, do you get enough money in the year with your activities?
Yes, yes, we do. Apart from the contract, the cottage management contract, she's employed, did I say 6 to 8 hours a week? Yeah, oh, well, under contract, and she's not employed. And that's what we can't cover. We're just, 3,000 or 4,000 short a year of income to do that. So we'll get back there. Yes.
Just as far as visitors are concerned, do you know whether they're visitors, local visitors, or like international visitors?
Yes.
So is that drop off because of all visitors or just the international?
We know approximately, because we do keep visitor numbers if they come in, and there's usually a conversation with visitors unless it's too busy, and people try to ask where people are from and get some. So it's not a particularly accurate, but the overall
idea, yeah.
The overall proportion is about 80% to 20%. 80% are Christchurch City or around the surrounding area. A lot of people from Rangiora and Oxford, actually. Right. And then about 20% are from beyond that. And of that, probably before the pandemic, maybe half would be international visitors. Right. And but that's all dropped away with COVID, and only slowly the international ones are coming back. But we're really chuffed to hear that Christchurch and Canterbury Tourism are going to reopen the eyesight in the square, because I think, generally speaking, Diamond Harbour's under promoted as a day trip with the ferry ride and everything, and go through Littleton and visit Diamond Harbour for a day. And we'd like to see a few more people just come over and find their way to Stoddart Cottage. But we're only open on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so that's a bit of a limitation. And public holidays, that's it.
Oh, wonderful. And just as you said Christchurch NZ, it reminded me of potentially, have you read the latest destination management plan that's been put together?
We made a submission on the draft, but I haven't heard anything about what's happening.
Okay, so we had a chance to
update me.
Input. Okay.
But one of the things that we noted was the destination plan. For me, and I think Banks Peninsula as a whole is the thing. We've got like 25 different communities. We've got all these bays and valleys. Each one's got its own strength, and they've all got visitor accommodation on them. And that draft emphasised Little River as being, getting extra promotion and funding to promote them. Well, to me, that's what's happened with Akaroa, and we've got to the point where there's too much tourism for the size of the community. What we need to be doing is spreading it across the whole peninsula. And if you fund a particular place, you just make the same mistake again. And so in future promotions, I would rather see the whole of the peninsula being promoted as, like a place where you can discover your own thing in any one of these 25 or 30 different bays. And
Given the tools for all of the areas, so you can choose.
And an exploration ethic rather than, go to this super duper place that is on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I think
I do have
Tyrone
a
had a question.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful gallery space. Actually, I've been over there to an exhibition recently, and because there's quite a wealth of talent. There's a question coming. There's a wealth of talent, of artistic talent. Port Levy, for example, has
Port Levy's got talent.
Yes, exactly. So I got a piece from the Port Levy It's Got Talent exhibition, which was in the city, of course, Stanmore Road.
Yeah.
So is there a drive to sort of get those local artists into the, or is it from further afield?
Initially it was all local artists, and but a lot of them have now had exhibitions with us. We have regularly the local art group and the local photography group, but we now have a rule that you're not allowed to exhibit more than once every 2 years. So,
right.
So we've had to kind of spread the net a bit wider. And also our current curator is, she's very talented, and she's bringing in quite avant-garde kind of artists now, which we find really exciting. There's a core of people in the artisans who ask questions about it, but I think what she's doing is actually great. It's got a basis of local talent, but we're getting some from outside, particularly through the Arts and Resources program.
The Maria Lee exhibition was particularly, I think she's amazing.
Oh, she is. Yes, yeah, no, she's great. I love those pieces of stone. Anyway.
Sounds very encouraging to what's happening, and I'm sure they'll just get more and more built on that. So it's really good to have an update on how things are going.
Well, we don't want it to keep growing. We want to just manage it,
Yeah, I hear.
Otherwise, we'll all burn out again.
Right. Yes,
that's the biggest risk for us.
It's that balance, isn't it? If there's a balance to be had, but try and attain it.
We just need to get self-sufficient, and then we'll just hold it. I think.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank
really
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
All the way over here.
What do I have to sign here?
I think we'll move along. We've got no deputations by appointment today and no presentations of petitions. So that takes us to the Reserve Committee meeting minutes. And Natasha is presenting this today. She's online. Thank you very much, Natasha. Can you hear us?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Lovely. The Zoom audio isn't working on my computer, so I'm listening to you via the live stream and then talking via the Zoom. So I'm hoping it's aligned. The Reserve Committee Special Conditions Progress Report. You've got the report in front of you. So just to go over the main points. At the 12 December meeting, the board approved special conditions for 6 of the 15 reserve committees, and these special conditions had a deadline of 6 months. We've since reached this deadline, and each committee has made progress toward their special conditions. Littleton Reserves Committee has met the special condition, and so this recommendation does not apply to them. For the other 5 reserve committees to have sufficient time to meet their conditions and for staff to work with them, we're recommending the board resolve that deadline to 12 months from today, which will be the 9th of October.
Sorry, Natasha, we're just looking a little bit confused because we haven't approved the reserve committee minutes yet.
Oh, sorry, I don't normally speak to the reserve committee minutes, so I thought we were doing the special conditions progress report.
So I can just ask if there's any comments amongst elected members in regards to the committee meeting minutes that we have been sent. No, we're all good. Okay, so we just need a mover and a seconder to.
I'm happy to move.
Thank you, Ruben. Seconder.
I'll second it.
Asif, all those in favour? Right, thank you. All right, back to you, Natasha, for the special conditions progress.
Lovely. So as I was saying just before, to give the reserve committee members and staff sufficient time to further explore meeting their conditions, staff are recommending the board resolve the deadline to 12 months from today, 9 of October.
Yeah. So asking if the 6 months, because they are working, so the reserve committees are working towards their deadline with their special conditions, asking that it be moved from 6 months to 12 months. Is that correct?
From today.
Yes, that's correct.
Today's date, from today. Okay,
Another 6 months or another 12?
another 12 months from today.
Extend for 6 months. Yeah,
Okay. So, and
so we go for another 12 months.
from this date, another 12 months.
Yeah, so we need to change that, extend.
So the recommendations, 12 months.
It's good. No, it's good to clarify that. That's
To
fine.
extend the 6 month one.
To 12
to
months.
12 months.
Yeah. Be 12
There's a comma there.
Any comments about changing that to 12 months?
What happens when they get to the end of that 12 months and they still haven't done it?
Well, then we can question that then, can't we? So, wow.
Move that.
I've just got a query about Allendale, obviously. I see it's only here that it's only rural discussion and whether they come and incorporate society. Do we need to bring in something regarding the health and safety and the condition of the board into this requirement? Because they can't really go into the committee until the council really sorts out where they're standing with its health and safety and problems with what's going on there.
Yep, so that's all part of the process, and that's one of the reasons for them that it's
Okay.
extended. So that's all
Yeah.
taken into account.
So he's once again saying that they're working on the special conditions, and I imagine there'll be lots of different types of conditions because there's lots of different scenarios. But obviously, because I just in faith because they're working on it, but we want to hear comments as well. I said,
No, I think I agree with that extension because they're all volunteers and they need extra time.
okay,
That's my observation as well. And they really don't understand the current terms of preferences. They need to work with staff.
yes,
I've got a question. So who's our rep on the Pigeon Bay committee?
Me,
Yeah, and so is there anything there that's,
Yeah.
so you're comfortable with where things are at the moment with that committee?
yes, that's why I think this extension will help. They don't understand the new terms of preferences. So they want to work with staff. Currently, they have had a 2-time staff change. So
Right.
currently Jane is working with them and they had a good chase with Marie. So they want to know more, and there's a bit of quite a lot of confusion around the table.
yes.
Yeah, they've had a lot of discussions with staff and they actually asked for specifically the 6 months to be extended.
Yeah.
And they asked for more time because as their understanding grows, their views are changing.
That often happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good.
Any other comments before we move forward? No? Okay, so can I
Moved it.
Oh, Nigel moved it. Thank you, Nigel. Seconded by Tyrone. And all those in favour? Aye. Thank you. Right, now we're down to number 9, head-to-head walkway working party inclusion of Pura Residents Association. Natasha, take it away.
Hello again. So one of the roles of the working party is to engage local views on matters relating to the walkway. And as the walkway has entered the Puro area, it's important that we do have that local representation on the working party. And so it's important that we have a member on the working party from Puro.
Sorry? Yeah, the question on that is, it's obviously going head to head, so there's going to be a hell of a lot of associations that need to be included. Will they be getting included for that section and then another person come in? Seems.
What do you mean?
maybe logical. Well, we have a
As it grows, you mean?
Representatives around the head.
I think so.
So I'm not sure if I understood.
Well, okay, we're looking to include Pura.
Yeah.
What happens when we get to say all the other bays?
Oh, no, they're all covered.
They're all covered, so there's only one
From
missing.
Pura to Adelaide Head, you mean, or the other way?
Well, I don't care. I see it's
It'll cover that.
Yeah. It's a principle. I don't know that. Don't know that.
But it was just a bit of a gap
Okay.
because there was only really representation around to Diamond Harbour,
Gotcha.
and then there's a whole bit between Diamond Harbour and Adelaide here.
Okay.
that's sort of
Gonna be filled.
So,
So it's bridging the gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
and acknowledging that I'm unable to vote on this,
Yes.
I will note that Paul Dahl, who's been active on the Ted Walkway, has been doing the power of work in that area, and he's a Purdo resident. So, yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Any other comments?
Really comment.
No, and Kathy, I imagine, yep, has an interest as well. Okay, so if we've got no more comments, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder on that, please.
I'm looking for someone from that side of the.
I'm happy to second.
Oh, okay.
Ruben seconding. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye, that's passed. Thank you. Rapaki drain, a drain, name change.
It has been deferred for board members.
Thing, isn't it? Not a big thing.
Number 10 has been Rapaki drain and to enable Ngāti Whenua.
Okay, all right, deferred for another day. Thank you. Number 11, a little
6th of November.
6th of November. Thank you. Little River Wariwa dog exercise area trial. We've got Kim presenting to us today, which is very exciting. We should have all brought our dogs so we can head out there later. Thank you, Paula.
Customer.
Yeah.
Like to.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from them.
A few barks of excitement.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you. It's lovely to see you all again. About time meetings. So this report is an information report, and I thought you'd like to hear back because we did some engagement over the summer. I'm sure you're all aware of it, on the dog exercise area trial. From my perspective, having previously worked in that engagement space, I think an 89% positivity result is a fantastic result. We got some really good feedback, and even people commenting on how it's improved the social connection with other residents in the Little River. So it's fantastic. It's the best we could possibly hope for. Yeah, so from our perspective, the trial's been a great success. We've asked for Tina Crocker and the policy team to include that site for recommendation when she does the review of the next 2016 dog control policy and bylaw. She's happy with our feedback on that, and it looks promising going forward. So that'll be consulted on, I think it's next year. Yeah, it's quite a chunk of work when she does engagement on the bylaws, and I think it's about a 2-year process from the start to getting it signed off. So in that interim, we propose that it stays open, how it is. We hope that you're all on board with that as well. And we're looking to tie in with the project for the water connection to the toilets.
Yes.
To try and get water to the playground and the dog park.
That's
So
exciting.
there's a few good things going on.
Because that is one thing that it just didn't have, is no access to water. So that would be amazing.
So I've been speaking with Joe Grigg, who's the project manager for the toilet block water installation. And we think that it's going to be achievable to get a T-junction added in at the same time she does her work on that project. And then when we've got the funding, we'll pop in a drinking fountain for both the playground and the dog water drinking system as well.
That's awesome.
It's really good. We've also found some money to improve the gating in the dog exercise areas so that maintenance vehicles don't have to cross the swale to do that back section, across the swale and come back out and around and across again to do the little dog area. So we're putting a gate through between the large dog area and the small dog area so that we can get maintenance vehicles on the time.
Fantastic. Will that be padlocked perhaps?
If it needs to be.
No, I'm just wondering about if people leave that open, but then I guess they just go into the big dog area and it's not that big a deal. You know, if the two, it's not like they're getting out into anywhere else. So that's fine.
Yeah. Once it's been officially included in the dog policy bylaw, we can then look at getting a little more funding to improve the planting and the boundary. Trust want to do some initial planting. We're happy for them to do that boundary planting. But we'll try and get a little extra funding as well, just to tidy it up a bit. That's all very positive.
Can I ask about signage? Now, is that something that will come later?
Yes.
So that will be once there's been the review of the bylaw. How does it work? So as far as what happens next, I guess.
So the signage that's there was only the temporary boot signs. I did put out some of the solid dog signs though, so those ones will stay. The core flute, if it disintegrates, we'll look at getting that replaced, probably just again in the core flute. Once it's official, we can put up some proper formal council signing on there.
And is there any signage that sort of directs people to dog parks, or is that not done anywhere? So I'm just thinking, because it is off the main track a little bit, off the main road, people driving by unless they knew wouldn't necessarily know. I'm just wondering whose responsibility it would be to do that signage.
That's a very good question. I'm afraid I don't.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it's just because sometimes you have signage saying playground or, you know, and it's just, how do we let people know?
The AA signage, the yellow signs.
Hey, is it AA? Is it?
I can say
Take a playground sign.
What's that, sorry?
Take a playground sign for the dog.
Could do something. Tyrone, yes.
Hey, Kim. Do we have how about just remind me of the sort of the square meterage of the trial area, if you've got it, just ballpark, as it were.
What are you looking? 3 ball throws.
There's a smaller area and there's a quite big area.
There's a large paddock. I do have a small map of it here. We cut off the bottom area adjacent to the neighbouring properties because it's quite boggy in there, and the fencing across here was not in very good condition, and I felt that dogs would pass straight through. So that area was sufficient, but I don't know the exact size.
That's right, I can probably do a hackneyed measure of it.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
You'll notice that it's we're promoting it as dog exercise area rather than dog park.
An important distinction.
Yeah. And for the reason, I think I covered that off a little bit in the report, for the reason that a dog park is very formal. It'll have the small gauge fencing, often 6 foot high fencing as well. And that's for year-round usage, but we couldn't guarantee year-round usage on this site because of the flood zone. And we would like people, when they're visiting, to have a bit of, use a bit of nous about when it's appropriate to take the dog in. Obviously, if it's full of stormwater, there's some.
A lot of dogs use it, and do other dog owners feel responsible in picking up after them? And do you have bags for poo bags and things like that, or how do you?
We don't know, so we hope that the owners are looking.
I think the trust has actually put a little mechanism out there for distributing the dog bags. And there's a big valley bin not too far away at the playground, so hopefully,
Good dog owners.
yes, great help.
Just a broad question you probably won't be able to answer. Feeling. Has there been a noticeable significant drop in complaints against dogs in the area as a result of people taking them to the park rather than taking them elsewhere to exercise them?
I've not been given any information.
Yeah, no, just you might have noticed it on Facebook. There's people complaining that dogs down at the beds and that sort of thing. You haven't noticed.
I've not received any complaints directly, so that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. So I would have liked to have seen some right, because then I can push well, this would be nice.
Oh,
to move
yes,
this over to
and some
Diamond Harbour, where
statistics,
there might be
yeah.
a dog exercise area there.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a success, so let's move it into the other areas of the community.
Yeah.
And that 87%, you know, uptake of people being positive about it is really good statistics. So you can definitely.
So Diamond Harbour would be a perfect spot for this exercise area.
Yeah, dog exercise areas or dog parks tend to be one of those things that can polarize the community,
Yeah.
whether 100% for it or 100% against it. So this one's been a really good success story. It doesn't always mean it will be a success.
Or maybe you could transfer your franchise over there.
Always try.
Cooperate.
But the any complaints earlier were from dog owners not having places that they could walk their dogs and let their dogs off that weren't right beside the highway or other private property. So the complaints weren't so much about dogs being in other places, but having nowhere safe to let your dog have a good run, unless you owned your own big tract of land. So that was the push. The real push from our locals.
I think Liz has got a comment too.
Now, we're out of the trial now, aren't we? So will it be listed on the dog exercise area on the council website?
Not until it's officially in the Bible.
Okay.
So it's pretty much just a local thing.
And so what was the deadline for that again? Sorry,
It's next year, it's
2024.
2024.
when the work starts. It takes a couple of years for the bylaw to come through the system.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, and dog control bylaw does take a little bit of time.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, just double checking. Sorry, it's council freehold land, is it? The site?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sure, it says that somewhere here, but my reading is blurry.
Lovely. Any other comments or questions for Kim? Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming today.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
Nice to chat with you. Enjoy your day.
Cheers. Oh, it just says here that we need to, is that it? We need to move in a second.
Yes, you do.
Just to, for the report, receive the report. Okay, we've received the report. I'm happy to move that. Does anyone want to second that? Happy and all in favour?
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Moving right along to.
Nobody against? Okay, that's good. Just checking.
Moving right along to Expenditure Community Board Area Report.
Glad to leave early.
Thank you for another full area report. Bringing your attention to the submissions. Because we
Paragraph 3.31.
3.31.
Page
Are we-
47.
Thank you, that's good.
Are we drafting? We have those in train at the moment.
Just want to know if the board wishes to make any
So
Chair.
Right, it's actually page 55. So what are we wanting?
56.
56.
Right at the very bottom of 56.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just want to know if the board wish to submit on.
Do we want to talk about submission opportunities? Are we doing it?
The process.
Yes.
Yes, we're still reviewing and making
Okay.
sure that we're going to, and we'll be bringing it to the board. We're going to suggest that we disestablish the submissions committee as it's not working the best for the board, and you may workshop on submissions. So it's just some things we just need to go through with that.
So participation in the contribution of decision making, but the council engagement and consultation, have your say. Draft government policy statement, dubious land. We've already put in about that, haven't we?
Which one, the land transport?
Yes.
Or the-
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually submitted.
Government inquiry to climate adaptation.
I thought, now these, the climate adaptation does fit in with your clean board plan.
Mhm. Start work notices, which is pretty standard if they are relevant to your particular area and people want to comment. National or as a national policy statement of natural hazards decision making 2023. I don't think I've heard about that.
The council will be probably, I suggest the council are going to submit on this one. So I'm sure that the touch will be in touch with the board. So
Yeah, I
yes,
think we
you're
should-
in touch. Yes, you need to have it in.
What is
13th of
the
November.
That's for the deadline for the submission, council submission. So we have to have it sort of in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I'm sure I saw Natasha sent
Yeah, so there'll be an invitation to come.
Yeah.
So we're asking now which ones we would like to.
We've already done some.
Yes.
We've already done the climate adaptation. That's done.
Okay.
And the land transport one that's been done.
So it's really just is it the national policy statement and of natural hazards one that we need to see whether we're interested in making?
Yes.
Ponder on it, see if we're interested, think about that a bit more, if we would like to make a submission as a board to this and how that might look, sound and be.
Might be an idea to bring up.
Okay.
Right, and then moving on to the port liaison bit, which is 3.4.5, near the top of page 58. So Tyrone is your board representative on the Liverpool Port Liaison Committee, and there is a permanent clash of times for him, so he is unable to attend those meetings. So we are suggesting the board look at appointing another board member.
The third Tuesday of the month seems to be a popular time to have meetings. Good, forget. Everyone goes, oh, no one, that's the perfect time. Everyone will be
That is when
free.
everybody puts them in. Okay.
Is that a monthly thing?
Question, Tyrone, is it a monthly?
Monthly, isn't it?
The third Tuesday of every month.
I think it's not quite monthly. I think it might be it might be quarterly actually.
The third Tuesday of every month. It's a monthly meeting.
Oh,
But
well,
then
no, the
sometimes
third
it's-
Tuesday of a month rather. It's not a monthly meeting, the liaison committee, but I have other meetings that are monthly. That are on the third
okay.
Tuesday. of the month.
Maybe
Yeah,
Or do you want to
so
leave it?
this is a good opportunity to put forward any questions if you're interested. It is obviously very important to have representation there. And what's your thoughts, Kathy?
I can talk to Tara and see what it involves, maybe. Is that easier?
Also wait until after the by-election.
Yeah, that's right.
If there is a
That as well.
by-election.
How are you,
Is it on
sit
the
with you, Tyrone, as far as waiting till after the
Well,
by-election?
it
What
doesn't
does-
bother me. I mean, I just can't make it.
What does that mean as far
And
as
there's other.
that representation? What are they in the middle of that needs to have community board input right now?
I mean, like if I'm not going, then there's nobody from the community board that's going. But there are people from that community that are going.
Oh,
Okay,
which is,
Can they know?
oh, yeah.
okay. All right, so maybe just continue that discussion, Kathy, Tyrone, but we'll just
And see.
bring it up again.
Another email.
That's right.
It's pretty low intensity. Like there's not, it's just going to a meeting and just because I mean the crux of it is the reporter they will report back on things that are of community interest, like the noise, pollution stuff, just whatever they're doing to mitigate sort of risks, and they'll just report back on that, and the members just feedback on that, and obviously there's a phenomenon piece as well, which is that relationship with the port,
I'd also,
which I get from other forums, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, the port are pretty open. Like I'm often catching up with Phil too, for example, so I don't necessarily need to do it in that forum.
Yeah.
Do you have a comment?
I'd like to know the board's thoughts on when we bring this back to the board. if there is a by-election, it will not be till early February, March next year. For a Middleton seat, if it's a by-election. Or do you want me to bring it back December? December.
Can the board, can the board agree without a report that Kathy can
From now
slot
till-
in the meantime?
Until the
So Kathy and I can just.
Yes,
Until
yeah,
appointment.
Until an official appointment.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good
Yeah,
Just
and
don't
let's
want it
do
hanging.
that.
stopgap.
Let's
Yeah.
do that after a by-election.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sounds like a great plan. It's unofficial, so we don't need to move this. Okay.
Thank you.
That's that. Oh, yes, so receive that report. So a mover and a mover and a seconder, please. I can move it.
Happy to second.
Thank you, Ruben. All those in favour?
Right.
Anybody against? There we go. That's passed. Thank you. Now we're going to the elected members information exchange. Who would like to start? All putting your hands up. Look at you all.
You go, Lynn.
Okay. What have I got to report on? So wonderful community engagement with the emergency response meeting that was held recently in Little River, and that was a from the grounds route. I've got to figure out how to say that. So from the community, we had a community representative who worked closely with staff here and myself in getting that going, and it was well attended. And it's really good to see that that is getting some momentum as far as what you can do individually to be prepared for any emergencies and what you can do collectively as a community to prepare for any emergencies. And that includes talking about what resources are available, where are some places that you can go if there's emergency. For example, if there's flooding, where are the high places? And if there's earthquake, where are the places that are, So that is just the very beginning of that. And I know that is beginning to happen in other places on the peninsula as well. And I can see that actually having sort of a network effect. So that's quite encouraging. On my plate this week, I'm reporting to, no, that's different. That's not about Wairua. So that's fine. What else do I need to report about Wairua? Yes, thank you. That'll be great. Go around to
Look, I'll just jump on and just so 30th of September, grand opening of the Governor's Bay Jetty.
Yes.
What a magnificent event that was. Extremely well attended. So it was opened by the Deputy Mayor. Phil couldn't make it because he was in Korea, South, I believe.
Okay. It's a good definition.
Just checking, So it threatened to be quite a difficult day in terms of the weather, but the sun always shines on Banks Peninsula, and it turned out into a spectacular day. It was really wonderful. I think the day started with Moe Stewart from Rākaihautū doing a blessing, and the winners of the first to jump off the jetty kind of auction sort of jumped off it at 6 a.m. that morning.
Whoa.
So, but I think that raised about $1,200.
That's amazing.
So, more than 1,000. It was
paying to jump into COVID.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's just a magnificent, there's just such a good vibe around that whole thing. It's such a good model. They've just, the trust have just worked really tirelessly. They got it done for, a really good price. And it's just a great community asset. So just really looking forward to seeing how that's going to develop and get incorporated into the NT Walkway, hopefully, all sorts of things like that. So that was really cool. Just a quick note on O'Kane's Bay. So you're looking at the temporary chair of the O'Kane's Bay Museum Trust, because Helen Brown, who is the chair, is just thought she's had COVID and she's got long COVID and her health's, she just needs to recover. So we've just kind of come to an agreement that with the board's approval that I will be in the chair. We're looking until Christmas. So just an FYI there. And so Waitangi Day, we did have Waitangi Day in O'Kane's Bay this year, but planning started for that. So, you know, things are beginning.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Starting to
Been a
pick up a
couple
bit
of
of
years.
momentum. Yeah.
Without it there,
So
let's get it going.
it's a bit of a change of tack this year. So there'll be no charge, as it were. So it's a free event, the board's going to look at other ways of fundraising for that. So, you know, so watch this space. I'll let Nigel talk about the Rākaihautū French Festival, but there is actually one thing that I want to say about that, which is that I accompanied the French ambassador to New Zealand attended Madame Beau, and who was absolutely lovely, and I had the pleasure of accompanying her to the Rākaihautū Museum, where Dan Smith gave us a bit of a tour, and you know, he's obviously incredibly knowledgeable, Dan, and we showed Madame Beau a sort of a historic, like what they call a secrétaire. No, it's kind of like a French style sort of desk that's kind of, you know, that opens out and it's got lots of little pockets and secret things. And so what's particularly unique about that piece, which is in the, you know, it's in the Rākaihautū Museum, is that it's you know, it's, how old is that secretary, Nige? It's probably about 100 in the museum. It's probably about 170 years old or whatever it is. Yeah. But what's really special about it is that it's a purely French piece of furniture that's been constructed by purely New Zealand timbers. So it's like a real one of like such a sort of a unique thing. So Madame Beau was pretty taken by that. She was sort of like talking about all her memories of being a child and her grandmother having one, and so that was quite nice, and we got that sort of connection there. So that was a really good, special kind of moment at the French Festival. Just from a council perspective, probably the major thing that I'd want to just bring up with everybody is council just recently approved a whole range of projects for what's called way safer streets for transport options for Christchurch. Now, there's nothing particularly per se for Banks Peninsula on that. It's about sort of $28 million worth of projects, but like just a really good bunch of projects all over the city to improve and increase transport options for citizens of Christchurch. So that was it mostly kind of uncontroversial. There's probably one or two things that were a little bit divided in terms of the voting, but like just quite a good step forward for Christchurch. It's just completing some cycle pathways and creating some new corridors and sort of you know, different things there. It wasn't all about cycling, and some of it's about actually, one of the really good projects was creating better access to Te Aratai College in Linwood there. So that was quite a good project as well, making it safer to get to school for those students. What else? And probably a big thing that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, but we might see a bit more of it as the season progresses. But the stormwater situation and the sort of the water quality situation for some of our swimming beaches in Littleton. I don't know if you've caught up with that in the news, so you're probably all across that, so I'm probably not too, so I'm not, you know, you'll be aware of it. So that's likely to get more controversial as the season progresses, as people find that they, you know, swim at your own risk in those bays. So it's a bit of a concern that we've got some stormwater issues there that we probably need to, well, it's going to cost even if we knew what the solution was, when we discover what to do, it's not going to be cheap. So that's just something to think about for the future. I'll probably think of something else, but I'll
so we can come back round.
over to you, Nigel.
That's on the meeting. I don't have a lot to talk about.
I didn't talk about the French Festival only my excursion with Madame Beau.
Yeah.
So,
that was an amazingly effective event. And I don't know how many thousand people we had come through, but running it for 3 days. The Friday night, the play on the beach on the Saturday, we had probably over 2,000 watching that play, even up with miserable weather. And we had obviously with the cabaret, we had 780 tickets sold out 5 weeks ahead, and we could have probably sold another 200. The whole weekend went well. It was a very smooth weekend. It was done with a lot of, I guess, community input. I think more so this time than ever before. We really focused on that. We had the rugby club, the garden club, and the schools and the school children in the plays. It was a total community connected event. In the past, it was generally run by the descendants of the French, but it's been now engaging mana whenua all the way through to everybody. But it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money, and it's the sustainability of events in Akaroa is an ongoing problem because we don't have anyone dedicated like they do in other areas that can be coordinating and fundraising for these groups. It's using purely volunteer labour. So no, really good, really happy with that. I guess the major concern over the last week or so has been that wreck on the beach around Fisherman's Bay, around the back there. I really don't know why it was not towed out to sea. I know there was an effort supposedly to try and get by EPAN to get the fuel off the boat, but I don't know if there's anything we could have been done more. I just think that's breaking up on the beach in that area where little blue penguins are breeding is actually an ecological disaster. And not a lot's been said about it, so I don't know if there's any more we can do. I got a head on Hugh Wayne was trying to have a chat with me over the weekend of some vague sort of a chat around some conference call they had. Can you bring us up to speed with that, Pen? Do you know about that? Some conference call with staff?
It's the same one with destination management.
Well, was it part of it? Was okay, with the destination management? Okay, it's part of that. Okay.
Oh, the advisory group.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's all for me. So I'm just starry-eyed from the blurry-eyed from the
Very nice. And your birthday.
Well, I haven't got much. GT obviously. It'd be nice to start, but actually look at parking down there now. I think there's been an issue with parking for a while, so now it's going to, if you get some parking bays down there, that'd be great.
Just got a question here.
Staff have met with Simon this week.
Okay, so it's working in hand.
The traffic engineer has.
I figured it would be something, I thought I'd bring it up anyway.
We're talking about the Governor's Day duty and the Diamond Harbour duty.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, Governor's Day didn't, yeah. Okay, so we're slightly on it. I'd also like to put out a thank you to staff roading for the reaction during the storm last week and keeping the road open. It was much appreciated. Yeah, there was a few trees down and they cleared them pretty quickly, so it was much appreciated. There's only a few delays, but no, it was good. And remind everyone next weekend, Governor's Bay Fete.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I hope everyone can make it.
That's right.
There's me.
Thank you. Yeah,
I was about to say I don't have too much to do, then I started writing. Oh, okay. But then a lot has been covered. Went to the French Fest, great, and I think we should support that one. There was a rec centre meeting. They've talked a whole lot of stuff. They also talked about dogs and the dogs on the rec grounds and stuff. So it was really good to hear Kim this morning and see if there's options around that sort of stuff as well for dog exercise. In Littleton at 40 Winchester Street, we launched a project called 51 Threads in the sort of building up this community project around calligraphy and embroidery to mark the 5th anniversary of March 15th with the community. And so it was bringing the Muslim community and engaging with the Littleton community, like the Little So-and-so's group and members of the community to maybe do like a patchwork quilt or just individual, things to remember March 15th. And also part of getting communities together. We went out to Pūrau and did some planting out there with the Pūrau community, and we planted over 1,000 plants there. And that was Hannah from City Care and a whole lot of different organizations coming together. So that was pretty amazing. Just a mention of item 3.1 about the Cascade community thing at Steadfast and the lease. I think there's a point noting there about no alcohol at all in Steadfast, but should the community get a community hall, maybe that kind of detail of the lease could be kind of reviewed perhaps, because I think community halls kind of have some exception to have alcohol served during events.
Can I just check? So what you're saying is that you're getting feedback from the community that nobody's allowed to drink there unless they're drinking at the community hall. And
Well, I don't know, I'm just reading, yeah. Well, yes, it's either the whole of Steadfast as a reserve, or if you can, if we have a community hall where there's an exception within that space when you're having community events. So we'll just have to clarify when a lease comes out.
This is a licensing issue, isn't it?
Feels like a lot of tail wagging dog going on here.
But it's stated in 2.1, so we'll just have to clarify.
I don't know down at the hall down
details
here,
come
with,
out.
do they have to do something special to get
yes.
around that?
Yes, I think we've had to do that too in the
Yeah.
past, yeah. What else? Keep Christchurch Beautiful had a stakeholders meeting, and that was really well attended with police and community patrol and things like that, and talking about graffiti and litter and things. Littleton community, we're organising another litter hunt, or ongoing kind of litter collection around Littleton. And once again, thank you with the flooding that happened around the Littleton tunnel. It was like sorted really quite quickly. That was really recently. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been busy, Kathy. Yeah, thank you. Just want to mention a few things about the boat ride in Fisherman's Bay. I had a chat with neighbors, landowners, and they were of the view that if they could have worked early on to retrieve oil, it could have been saved. But anyway, 2 yellow-eyed penguins, they have been rescued from that area. So I hope that they will be returned once the boat is sorted to the same place. There has been quite a lot of fishing around close to the harbour. And I know this board hasn't got any authority, but is there a way that we could lobby and prevent these boats coming that close to the shore, so that in the future we could avoid such a catastrophe?
Well, I
don't know.
Sorry, commercial fishery?
Commercial.
Okay,
Yeah.
commercial fishing. You need to,
Yeah.
they need to call the Ministry of Fisheries.
So this board could lobby, advocate.
Well, I think this board
Given-
write a letter to somebody to say, but I mean, what's the evidence? We need some evidence.
We need to understand exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, they should never have been that close, and this is at night.
Well, we don't
We
actually
can
know
talk
what
about
happened.
whether they might have been drunk, drinking,
Well,
drugged or
we-
asleep.
Yeah, you're right, Tara, we don't know what happened. But where the boat is, the boats have been spotted by neighbors around fishing in the past.
Might be good if they got photographic evidence.
There's quite a bit of anecdotal evidence, but you need a bit more than that.
Yeah, to go to the Ministry of Fisheries, because they have cameras and everything on those boats now.
And is it often easier to, if there's something that the community's already started, that we can add our support to, rather than it being the other way around, where we're pushing something and asking for support?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have spoken to people and I'm just presenting these ideas,
Yeah.
my individual ideas.
No, thank you.
So these, so that's why I'm bringing that if we could something, write a letter
in support
to
of something.
acknowledge. Because at the end of the day, the whole peninsula, we have got bears and we have got little blue penguins. And that is very special. In that area, I spotted my first yellow-eyed penguin in that bay. I did some conservation work there. over a decade ago. And yellow eye, they have been in danger. They are literally extinct from that whole phase. So we had to be proactively.
May I suggest this, that those people come to the board in Akaroa, we're here.
Okay.
Well, 30 October, we have a
30 October, they could come and talk to the board about it
I'd really
and
like
give
to
us some
support that.
more information.
Yeah.
Wherever we can, I think.
Brilliant.
And
Yeah, thank you.
whatever delegation that we have.
And then
I'd
the
like to do
board
that.
can
So there you
ask
go.
the questions they need.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. And we had our third civil defense volunteer meeting, so that is going really well. We're getting some new faces, and we are forming a shape of a structure. So hopefully, once we clear that up, we'll be sharing more details with the board. And
Can I ask a question? What
yes.
area does that encompass?
EPRA and the base.
Okay.
Yeah, so mostly. And EPRA Sports, Peninsula Sports and Recreation Complex, the project manager has been assigned. So we had a good meeting. Yeah, site visit.
That's good.
So the members, so they met with the complex and a few other citizens as well. So that was really good. And reserve committees, there seems to be a confusion and lack of understanding of the terms of references. So
Then just be in touch with staff.
Yeah.
Is there a committee in particular?
Pigeon Bear to start with, yeah. So, but yeah, their work has been my advice, and they said that they will contact the staff, and especially around finances.
It's a confusing thing.
Thank you for this.
That's good. I've just got one more thing to add here, which was oh yeah, Ruben. Thank you, Evie. That's why we have a team. Okay, sure. Far away, Ruben.
I just had one observation, which was that it's good to see that the Littleton Review has risen like a phoenix from the ashes. And I don't know if everyone's had a chance to have a read of that yet, but that was a publication that we supported as a community board, and then obviously it stopped. But it's back. So that's a good thing, right? As far as having a good publication that can connect that community, and hopefully that lots of different voices can contribute to, because that's always important.
Great. And how are you doing?
Great.
Awesome. Tyrone, you had some more to say.
I do. So this is pretty. God, I can't even believe I forgot this in my first round.
Okay.
So I went to. You'll probably caught up with this in the news, but so I went to a government announcement the other day. $5 million grant for Tāwhaki joint venture aerospace facility out on Waitariti spit. Like that's pretty significant. Like that's got the potential to. To have $2 billion worth of economic projected, that's the prediction, $2 billion worth of economic benefit to sort of the wider Christchurch area and Canterbury over the next sort of 10 or so years, and provide jobs. So that's it's early days, but it's quite an exciting. It's not every. I think Ruben said to me earlier in the week, like, how does it feel to be the only councillor with a spaceport in your ward? So it's kind of quite an interesting take. So that is quite exciting. So the $5 million is effectively to build a 1 kilometre runway and some other facilities there. So that's great. Probably. Just a note of, a community kind of from a community perspective. I have had some people contact me from the Birdlings Flat community saying, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's a little bit of a communications gap there that we need to sort of, and you would have picked up on that as well. it's kind of like, oh, hey, cool spaceport, but well, hang on, we live right here. So, you know, you just as you would expect. So it's important just to make sure that we've got that sort of that.
We got a presentation of it at the governance convention. And it's like, wow, what the hell? Why don't we know about it?
Yeah.
It has been sort of a little bit under the radar from the
presentation, but wow.
Yeah, we just need to be taken on that journey, I think, and just get
it's quite
excited
a
about
thing,
it as
right?
well.
So,
Yeah.
Look, as a councillor, even I really wasn't completely across it until recently. I'm not that I'm completely across it, but anyway, so that's so anyway, but it's an exciting development. Just another thing that I wanted to raise is that so Andrew Turner, who many of us will know, has officially stepped down as the general manager of the Rob Donald Trust as well. So among other things that he had been appointed to, so that's a big loss. And the trust is just looking is going through the process of appointing a new general manager. So that's just all kind of in train, the sort of the HR part of that at the moment. So that's happening. And just one other thing that you may or may not have picked up in the news, just from a wider Christchurch perspective, is the council has agreed in principle to extend further funding up to $32 million now for the South Library, which is a pretty, and that does have actually a lot of benefit for the library is well used by people around the Littleton sort of harbour area as well. Governors Bay, you know, it's kind of on that sort of. So it's definitely got value for part of the Banks Peninsula area for sure, and for wider Christchurch. So just if you haven't picked up on that, that's kind of happening now. Sort of a bit more to go there, but it's been a good development. That's probably about it.
And just one last thing from me, with my chair hat on, me and Nigel will be going to talk to the councillors this week on Wednesday with long-term plan stuff. So we're feverishly working away at that. Yeah, gonna have that all sorted out.
15-minute presentation was got about 3 lines.
No, this is what this work at the table is all about. As we've been doing it. So we'll pull that together and we'll talk about that as we go forward. I think it's fitting that we're here in Little River today. I don't know whether you've heard, but a long-term member here in the community, Val Peak, passed away during the week, and she had given so much for many, many years to the community. Has been a JP in the area, worked here at the service centre for over 30 years. And it wasn't, you didn't refer to the internet when you needed to know something about Little River. You went and asked Val. She was that type of person because she knew everybody and everything. So just thinking of her and her family this week. Yeah. Okay, so I think that we can move on to, unless there's anything else, our karakia for closing. If that's okay, Victor. And it's up there on the board if we need it.
Unahia ki te uru tapanui, ki a wātia, ki a māma, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua I te ara takatā. Koe rā e rongo, whakairi ake ki runga, ki a tīna, koe tarai.
Thank you. The invitation from awesome.